Good afternoon, everyone. In the last class, we have discussed regarding this clippers. So we have done almost 10 circuits. We'll do the remaining circuits now, and then we shall proceed to the clamp case. So we have done series positive clipper, series negative clipper, positive clipper, negative clipper, series positive clipper with positive bias voltage, series positive clipper with positive bias voltage connected in series. So all these circuits we have done. So I have to start from 10th circuit. So in this circuit, in the series negative clipper with positive bias voltage connected in series, say we are connecting the diode between this bias voltage VDC and the supply voltage Vin. Okay, so the cathode is connected to the negative potential. So cathode is maintained at the negative potential and the anode is connected to the power supply. Now here the diode will conduct when this condition is satisfied, when V input is less than diode voltage minus DC voltage. Okay, so for the diode to conduct, always anode should be higher than cathode voltage, right? So if the diode will conduct uh, when VD minus, sorry, it should be V in greater than, okay, it is wrongly kept. It should be, this should have been greater than equal to. So diode will conduct when V is greater than VD minus VDC, and then in that case output should be equal to V in minus VD plus VDC. So let us see the circuit diagram here. So here I am connecting a diode in the same fashion as given in the circuit diagram. Now we are connecting the bias voltage. Okay. So now when I am running this circuit for 0.04 seconds, so I am only taking 2 cycles. Okay. Now you can see that here in this waveform, the blue waveform is your input voltage, whereas this dotted or the dashed lines waveform in red color is your output voltage. So what is the peak value of your input voltage here? In the positive half cycle, what's the peak value you are seeing for the input voltage? Please
12,
respond. 10 volts. Okay.
12
10
volts.
Whereas for the
Sir.
output voltage, how much you are seeing for output voltage? How much you are seeing?
around 10.7.
Around 10.7 or something else. So we shall go back here. So here output voltage is equal to V in minus VD plus VDC. So if the V in maximum is 10 volts and DC voltage is 2 volts and the diode voltage is 0.7 volts, it is 10 plus 2 minus 0.7. Okay, so it is 12 minus 0.7, that is equal to 11.3 volts. So this voltage is around 11.3 volts. Okay, so this is when the diode is conducting. Okay, this is when diode is conducting. If the diode is open, then these output terminals are not connected to the supply at all. Even this negative terminal is not connected to the ground. So this is as if the Vout is equal to 0 volts. That's why in the output waveform you are getting that output voltage is equal to 0 when the diode is not conducting. Okay, so diode will conduct as long as Vin is less than Vd minus Vdc. Okay. So next circuit we shall go. So here we are connecting the series negative clipper with the negative bias voltage. So here bias voltage is negative voltage. Okay. So already we have seen series negative clipper with positive bias voltage. So did we see that series negative clipper with positive bias voltage? If we go back, So here we have seen series negative clipper with positive bias voltage. So everything else of the circuit will remain the same. Please mute yourself. Everything else will remain the same. Only thing is that in place of VDC, we have to write minus VDC. Okay. So everything else will remain the same. So VIN should be less than or equal to minus VDC plus VD. Okay. So if we come back to this 11th circuit, here Vin should be greater than VDC minus VDC plus VD. Okay, and then output should be equal to Vin minus VD. So what will be the maximum voltage in the output you can observe? If the input is maximum peak is at 10 volts and the diode voltage is 0.7 volts, what's the maximum peak you can observe? It is 10 minus 0.7. So it should observe around 9.3 volts. Okay. If the diode is not conducting, if the diode is open, then Vout is equal to minus VDC. Okay. Vout is equal to minus VDC. So this is a simulation circuit, and then here you can see that the maximum positive peak voltage is around 9. This difference is nothing but your diode forward drop voltage. That's around 0.7 volts. So this 9.3, this is 10 volts. When the diode is not conducting, you have the voltage equal to minus VDC. So this value is equal to 2 volts, minus 2 volts. This is minus 2. Here is your 0. This is your minus 2 volts. And then you have series negative clipper with negative bias voltage connected in series. So here we are connecting like your 10th circuit. Here we are connecting the diode between the input voltage and the VDC. However, here we are giving the positive terminal to the cathode. So cathode is connected to the positive terminal. Please mute. Whereas anode is connected to the power supply. Here the condition for the diode to conduct is Vin should be greater than VD plus VDC. So if this condition is satisfied, then the diode will be on. When the diode is conducting, then output voltage will be equal to, if you draw your KVL equation, here it will be Vin minus VD minus VDC minus V naught equal to 0. So your V naught will be equal to Vin minus VD minus VDC. That's what you are getting over here. So the maximum voltage in the output will be, if Vin is Vm, so if it is 10 volts, in my simulation circuit I'm taking Vin maximum as peak value as 10 volts, VD as 0.7 volts and VDC as 2 volts. So it will be around 7.3 volts. It's the positive peak value, okay, maximum value. And then if the diode is open, so if this condition is not satisfied, then for all other conditions your diode will be open. So when the diode is open, your V naught will be equal to 0 volts, because if this is open, your output terminals are separated from the input terminals. Okay, so there is no connection for the output terminals, so there is no supply, so your output will be equal to 0 volts. So in this condition your diode is in on, whereas here your diode is in off condition. When the diode is in off condition, you are observing that voltage equal to 0 volts, whereas when the diode is conducting, the maximum value of the output you are observing is around 7.3 volts. Okay, this is around 7.3 volts. And then next you have shunt positive clipper with positive shunt bias voltage. So in this circuit we are connecting the diode in this fashion. So here cathode is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, and then anode is connected to the power supply. So if the diode has to be in on condition, then this Vin should be greater than your VD plus VDC. Okay. Now, in case your your Vin is greater than Vd plus Vdc condition is satisfied, then diode is in on condition. When the diode is in on condition, then voltage across this is equal to Vd. Voltage across this is equal to Vdc. Now, adding these two, you will get your V0. So V0 equal to Vd plus Vdc. Okay, that's what you are getting over here. So the maximum output voltage that you can observe is, if for a given input of 10 volts peak, if the Vd is equal to 0.7, Vd is equal to 2 volts, then you may observe output volt maximum peak in the output voltage as around only 2.7 volts when the diode is conducting. If the diode is not conducting, so if it is open, so the circuit will become like this. Okay, here it is open, this is your plus minus V0. Okay, now your circuit is open, so whatever the input voltage you are giving, it will appear across your output terminals. So V0 equal to V. Okay, so maximum value you may observe over here is nothing but your peak value. So in the negative half cycle, you may observe the peak as minus 10 volts. Okay, so you can see that the positive half cycle, the maximum value you are observing is only 2.3 volts. That's what we got, right? Sorry, 2.7 volts. We are getting output maximum as 2.7 volts. So when the diode is on, your positive, your voltage is output voltage is constant at 2.7 volts. So when the diode is not conducting, your output voltage is following the input voltage. So here diode is conducting, and this region your diode is not conducting. Okay, this dashed line is your output voltage. Here I have given the legend also, or label I have given. So from the label you can see. And then shunt positive clipper with negative shunt bias voltage. So the earlier circuit and this circuit is very much similar. The only thing is that instead of plus VDC, we are keeping minus VDC. So when the diode is in conducting region, so earlier the condition is V in should be greater than equal to VD plus VDC in the previous condition. Now it will be VD minus VDC. So when this condition is satisfied, diode is conducting. When the diode is conducting, you have here plus here minus is VD, whereas here minus here plus VDC, and this is plus minus V0. So here V0 is equal to VD minus VDC when the diode is on. When the diode is off, so when this is open, then your V0 is equal to VIN. Your output voltage will follow the input voltage. So in this condition, when the diode is conducting, you will observe that output voltage is constant at this 0.7 minus 2. So you will observe the output voltage at minus 1.3 volt. When the diode is off condition, you will observe that output is following the input curve. So you can see that in the output you are observing a negative voltage value. Can you see this negative voltage? If you want, I will zoom that for you. Can you see this negative voltage, the dotted line? Please respond.
Yes, sir.
So that is around 1.3 volt. Okay, and then for the remaining portion of the waveform, your output is following the input. So here it's your output and input are overlapping on each other. Okay, so for this portion your diode is off, for this portion your diode is on condition. then you have shunt negative clipper with positive bias voltage. Here bias voltage is positive, whereas we are reversing this diode, the previous condition. Now the condition for this diode should be on is anode voltage should be greater than cathode voltage. So this condition will become V in plus VD. This one is the cathode side voltages, this anode side voltages should be less than, cathode voltage should be less than anode side voltage. So anode side voltage we have VD. So it becomes V in less than minus VD plus VD. So that's how you are getting this condition. Okay. So for every circuit, only thing you need to check is whether VAK is greater than VD or not. That is V anode minus V cathode is greater than VD or not. You simply replace this, then you get the condition for conduction of the diode. Okay. So when the diode is on, now this is minus, this is plus, this is VD, and here we have plus minus VDC. So your V naught is equal to minus VD plus VDC. Okay, so in the maximum output voltage that you observe when the diode is conducting is, this is 0.7 plus 2, it's plus 0.1, 1.3. It's a maximum voltage you will observe when the diode is in on condition. If the diode is in off condition, then this is open, this portion is open, then your circuit becomes simply this manner. This is V0. Okay, so your V0 will be now equal to your supply voltage Vin when the diode is in open condition. So when the diode is conducting, you are observing VDC minus VD. So what's the maximum voltage what's the voltage you are observing when the diode is conducting? The diode is conducting 1.3. Okay, this is a dotted line, you can see that is 1.3. So your diode is conducting in this region, and for this region your diode is off. Okay, here your diode is off and the output voltage is following that of input voltage. Okay, so this portion you have your output is overlapping with the input voltage. Okay, so why it is called negative clipper here? Because we have cut down the negative half cycle in the output voltage. Okay, we have only remaining with the positive half cycle in the output. So next we'll move on to the next clipper, and this is the final clipper that I want to discuss today. So this is a combination clipper. So here instead of using one single diode, we'll have two different diodes. So one is facing a bias voltage of VDC1, other diode is having a bias voltage of VDC2, and the connections are in such a way that, so for the positive half cycle, this diode D1 is in the forward bias state, whereas this diode D2 will be in reverse bias state. So at one point only one diode will conduct. Okay, so both the diodes are not going to conduct at the same time. And also we have a bias voltage also because they based upon the bias voltages, the clipping portions will also be shifting. Okay, so here diode D1, for the diode D1, anode is connected to the supply, and for the diode D2, cathode is connected to the supply. So that's what we have written, anode of diode D1, cathode of diode D2 connected to the power supply. And then cathode of D1 is biased at a positive voltage of VDC1, and then anode of diode D2 is biased at a negative potential of VDC2. So diode D2 anode is connected to negative potential, diode D1 is maintained at a positive potential. Now we need to write the conditions. So first we shall take at what condition diode D1 will conduct. So I need someone else to answer from the students. So I'll randomly call a number. "44", roll number 44. Roll number 44, please unmute. Roll number 44. Roll number 44. Roll number 44, please unmute. Roll number 44, please respond. So if you are not responding, I may consider you to be absent with the class. Okay. Then roll number 65. Roll number 65. So whoever are not responding, I will consider them to be absent. Either you should speak using your mic, or you can type in your chat box. Anything is okay for me. But if you are not responding, I'll consider you to be absent. Okay. A9. 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 Please unmute. Am I audible? ఎవరు రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వకపోతే ఎలాగమ్మా? Somebody has written in the chat box. Okay, A9. Okay, so please unmute A9. A9, is your mic working? If your mic is working, please unmute and answer. What will be the condition for the diode D1 to be in on condition? It will to be in a forward bias. Please unmute and answer. A9. "74". సో ఇలా రావడానికి పిలిస్తే ఎవరు అవ్వట్లేదు, కానీ ఎవరికైతే తెలుసో వాళ్ళు రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వండి. ఇఫ్ యూ నాట్ రెస్పాండింగ్, ఇట్ మీన్స్ దట్ యు ఆర్ నాట్ అండర్స్టాండింగ్ ద కాన్సెప్ట్. హలో హలో, మీ నెంబర్ చెప్పి తర్వాత రెస్పాండ్ అవ్వండి. ఫస్ట్ టెల్ యువర్ నెంబర్ అండ్ దెన్ యూ కెన్ రెస్పాండ్.
242, sir.
242. Okay, please respond. So when your diode will be in on condition for this
VIN
circuit.
minus VD.
Now how you are telling? So for the circuit, how you are telling? Let us say that this is diode D1. So now tell me when will this diode will be in on condition? So we have a peak voltage of 10 volts supply. So diode drop voltage, forward drop voltage 0.7, and the battery voltage 4 volts is given. Now tell me in which condition your diode D1 will be in on condition, will be turned on.
Vin should be greater than
Vin should be greater than. So
VD,
here you have a
voltage
anode
and battery voltage.
Yeah. So here you have anode. Anode side voltage should be greater than. Anode side voltage should be greater than your VK plus your VD. Okay, or I can say that VA minus VK should be greater than or equal to VD, right? So this is the condition. So VA, we have supply voltage VIN. So VIN should be greater than or equal to VK is at the terminal K. I have a positive voltage. Here I have plus 4 volts. So I may have the DC1. So consider it as a DC voltage 1 plus VD. This is a diode 1. So I will write it as VD1. Okay, this is a condition for diode 1. Similarly, if you consider for the diode 2, if you want this diode D2 to be on, this D2 to be turned on, then the condition should be, now here this is the
Minus.
cathode, this is the anode, right? So here also VA minus VK should be greater than or equal to VD. So instead of VD, I will be writing as VD2. Okay. Now here instead of VA is the anode voltage. At the anode I have, this is a VDC2. So VDC2 minus VK. At VK I have my input voltage. So that is V in greater than or equal to VD2. So if I, because every time I need to, the only variable I have is the V input voltage. So I'll be taking it to the other side. So the condition is VDC2 minus VDT2 greater than or equal to VIN, or the condition will be VIN is less than or equal to VDCD2 minus VD2. Okay, this is the condition. So that's what we are writing here. So for the diode D1 to conduct, we have written VIN is greater than or equal to VD1 plus VDC1. And for the diode D2 to conduct, VIN should be less than or equal to.
Sir,
Okay. Tell me. Please tell me.
so for the
Sorry.
diode
DC
minus
volt.
VDC, right, sir?
Sorry, sir. So what you are telling? Please.
For diode D2, we are having minus VDC, right?
Minus VDC2. Sorry, that's what. Here we have minus VDC2. Okay, that's then the condition will become VIN less than or equal to minus VDC2 minus VDD2. Okay, this will be the condition, because here at anode we have negative voltage. Okay, so that's what we are getting in the equation here. You can see that for the diode D2 we have V in less than or equal to minus VD2 minus VDC2. The same thing we are getting over here. Okay, this is what we have written, minus VDC2 minus VD2. Okay, we have written over here. Okay, so never try to by heart these conditions. The only thing is every time you need to simply remember the circuit diagram. Once you know the circuit diagram, you can rewrite the condition that V anode minus V cathode should be greater than or equal to VD. This is the only thing you need to remember always. When this condition is satisfied, this diode will be in on condition. Okay, for all other conditions, your diode will be in off state. Okay, you need to replace what is at the anode voltage, what is at the cathode voltage. That's it. And you need to get a condition always such that you will get a relationship within terms of VIN. So you need to relate the VIN with the remaining voltage in the circuit, because VIN is the only variable voltage. We have the diode for drop voltage is a constant value and the battery voltage is a constant value, right? So you need to only change the VIN. So always we are writing the condition in terms of VIN. That's it. Okay. Now when the diode D1 is conducting, what happens? This circuit will convert into, this is this will convert as if this diode, across the diode, the drop will be VD1. Okay, and then you have VDC1, VDC1, and because this diode D2 is off condition, this is open. Okay, and this is V0. Okay, now what will be your output voltage? Output voltage will be equal to, so output voltage in parallel across this branch. You know that in parallel circuit voltage will be equal. So I can write that V0 is equal to, this is anode is plus, cathode is minus. So this is equal to VD1 plus VDC1. So that's why you are getting V0 is equal to VD1 plus VDC1. Okay. Similarly, when the diode D2 is conducting, this circuit will become, when the diode D2 is conducting, D1 will be off. This Vi in, D1 is off. This is a open branch, and then you have diode D2. So I'll write it as anode side I will write plus, cathode side I will write minus. This is VD2, and then I have minus plus, this is minus, this plus, this is VDC2, and then you have plus minus V0. And again here the output voltage is across the branch, this branch. So your V0 will be equal to, I can write V0 as, you tell me the voltage, V0 will be equal to minus VDD2, because I have a minus sign at the top, and then at the bottom I have again minus VDC2. Okay, so that's what I'm getting here. V0 is equal to minus VD2 minus VDC2. Okay, so you need to redraw the circuit. In the PPTs, because I have a large number of circuits, I may not be able to draw each and every condition. Okay, but when you are analyzing any circuit, you need to redraw the circuit every time in your answer sheet. When diode D1 is conducting, what will be your equivalent circuit? When the diode D2 is conducting, what will be your equivalent circuit? From the equivalent circuit only, you will be able to write the equation for your output voltage. Without an equivalent circuit, you may not be able to imagine what will be the V0. Okay, so whenever you are analyzing any clipper circuit, always redraw your equivalent circuit. When the diode is conducting, what will be the circuit? When the diode is not conducting, what will be the circuit? So these two conditions you need to observe, because you will not be able to by heart all these equations. We have a large number of circuits, almost 16 circuits you have seen till now. So no human will be able to by heart all these equations. Only thing is that you need to remember the circuit diagram. From the circuit diagram, you should be able to redraw the circuit conditions, equivalent circuit for the circuit condition, and then from this circuit, equivalent circuit, you should be able to comprehend the output voltage. Okay, so now you can see that in the output, your waveform is more or less like a trapezoidal waveform. Can you see this? Your waveform is this dark blue line. Here you can see that it is more or less like a trapezoidal waveform. This is a trapezoid, this is a trapezoid, right? So you are able to do the wave shaping. So by taking this VDC1 values and VDC2 values properly, and by taking the proper diodes, so you can choose your diodes. So based upon these values, you will be able to control the output voltage values. Okay, and you can convert the shape of this output waveform. So by this you will be able to perform this wave shaping. So you may get a trapezoidal waveform, you may get a square waveform. Okay, you may get a triangular waveform also. So depending upon what type of voltage, bias voltage you are taking, and or the diodes you are considering. So in my simulation circuit, I have considered a silicon diode with 0.7 volts as the forward bias voltage, and the germanium diode with 0.3 volts as the forward bias voltage. Okay, which are connected in anti-parallel to each other. And I consider the DC1 voltage as 4 volts and DC2 voltage as 2 volts. Okay, I have given the 10 volts as the peak voltage. Now you can see that what is the maximum value you are seeing in the output, this dotted line. What is its value? So what is its value when D1 is conducting? When the D1 is conducting,
0.7.
so it is VD1 plus VDC1, that is 0.7 volts plus 4 volts. I have taken 0.7 and I have taken sorry, I've taken 0.7 and 4. So it's 0.7 plus 4 volts. That's equal to 4.7 volts. So I'm getting around 4.7 volts over here. Okay. Whereas when the D1 is off and D2 is on, I'm getting minus VDD2 minus VDC2. I've taken this voltage as 0.3 and 2. So I will be getting minus 0.3 minus 2. That is minus 2.3. So this is around minus 2.3 volts. Okay. So by changing this bias voltage instead of 4 volts, if I change this 4 volts and 2 volts, the wave shape will change. The place where the waveform is clipping will change. Because if you are changing this, for example, if you are changing this 4 volt to a larger voltage, then this portion, this dotted portion will rise to somewhere over here. Okay. Similarly, if you are changing this voltage, so if you reduce this voltage further, instead of 2 volts, if I take only 1 volt, this will also further rise. So I can change the overall wave shape as per my convenience. Okay. So this is the beginning of your wave shaping in the electronic circuits. So with this, your diode clippers are over. So now I'll be moving on to the next topic of diode acting as a clamper. Is my PPT visible now? Is the diode clampers PPT visible to you?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
So again, so we have covered this diode as switch application, and then we have covered the rectifier circuits application. We have covered the clipper circuits application. Now we are left out with this clamper circuit application. Now, clampers, what they usually do is they will change the average DC value of your output waveform. Okay, so in the output, they will either raise the average DC value or they will reduce the average DC value. That's why they also referred as DC restorers. Okay, so the clapper circuits are designed such a way to shift the input waveform. So in the basic difference between clipper and the clamper is that here we are not going to see any change in the output waveform. Okay, so your output waveform will not become a trapezoidal or a triangular or a square wave. If you are giving a sinusoidal wave, it will remain sinusoidal wave. If you are giving a square wave, it will remain square wave. If you are giving a trapezoidal wave, it will remain a trapezoidal wave. So you will not see any change in the wave shape. Only thing you will observe is that average value either will be increased to some value, to a clamped value, or it will be decreasing. Okay, there will not be any change of waveform. Okay, you will initially take a reference voltage DCO level. To that extent, your voltage will be either increasing or decreasing. Okay, so because you are changing the you are adding some DC value, your average value will also be changing. Okay, so if you have a waveform, let us take that you have a 10 volts peak value, you have a 10 sine theta. Okay, so if you're adding plus 5 to that value, so for example, I have a waveform 10 sine omega t. Okay, so this is your sinusoidal voltage be equal to 10 sine omega t. So what is the average value for this waveform? For the sinusoidal waveform, what's the average value? Do you remember the average value?
Integral from here.
So 2 Vm by pi, that is equal to 20 by pi. Okay, this is your average value, DC value. Okay, now if you want to add some DC value, let us say some 5 volts, then what happens? At every instant you are going to add this 5 volts, right? So whether it's at time t is equal to 0 or time t is equal to let us say some pi by 6. So when omega t is equal to pi by 6, or when omega t is equal to pi by 2, or when omega t is equal to 2 pi by 3, At every instant, you are going to add the same value of 5 volts, right? Then overall average, will it be changing? It will only extend by 5 volts. Okay. So for example, let us say that your class average mark is, for example, let us say the class average mark is 65%. Okay. Class average is 65%. Now, if I say that I am going to give some five marks to every person in the class, then will the class average, what will be the class average now? New class average. If I am going to award extra 5 marks to every person, 5% marks to every person, then the new class average will be 65%
70%.
plus 5%, that is 70%. Right? In the similar way, if you are adding this additional DC voltage at every instant, your your average DC will be shifted by this amount. So if it is 5 volts, it will be increased by 5 volts. If it is minus 5 volts, it will be decreased by minus 5 volts. If it is some, let us say that VDC or V reference, then it will be increased by V reference. If it is minus V reference, then it will be decreased by minus V reference. So you are able to change the level of the waveform. Your peak will be shifting, your average values will be shifting, everything will be shifting, right? So that's why they are sometimes called as level shifters. The levels of the peak in the signal can be shifted using the clamper circuit. So the clamper circuit are also known as level shifters. Okay. So let us first discuss the applications of clamper circuits. Clampers can be frequently used in removing the distortions and identification of polarity of the circuits. So by giving a, for example, you have a negative half cycle in the waveform, and now you are adding a average value, a positive V reference, then your negative value will be reduced. So you will also be able to shift the entire negative half cycle to the positive half cycle. Okay, you will be able to change the polarity of the circuit also. You will be able to identify the polarities also. And for improving the reverse recovery time, so this is not required for you because I skipped this topic with the diode, so you will not be able to know this. And then clamping circuits can be used as voltage doublers. So voltage doublers means so you are given some 10 volt signal and you want to get a 20 volt signal. So in such a requirement is there, then you will be using the clamper circuit, and then you will be able to get the 20 volts. Okay. And then clampers are widely used in the test equipment and sonar systems. These are the applications. Now let us classify the clampers. So clampers can be broadly classified into positive clamper and negative clamper. So positive clamper means you are increasing the average DC value. So you're giving a positive reference voltage. Okay. Then it is called a positive clamper. It means you are increasing the average DC value. You are raising the voltage. In case you are decreasing the voltage, then it will be called as a negative clamper. Okay. So what actually happens in a clamper circuit is, so if we have a input signal, so let us say that this is 10 plus 10 volts, this is minus 10 volts. If you are giving it to a positive clamper circuit, you are giving to a positive clamper circuit, then your output will become, so this will be around 20 volts, this will be 0. So the entire waveform will be shifted. Okay. So here it is 0 volts. So here the center is at 0, whereas here center will be at 10 volts. So you are raising this by 10 volts. So the entire negative half cycle now can be turned to the positive half side. So this is the positive portion, this is the negative portion. So even the negative half cycle of your input waveform, you can bring it to the, you can raise it to the positive side by introducing a DC voltage. Okay. Now your average value is raised by plus 10 volts. So this is a rough idea I'm giving you. Now I will be discussing about this positive clampers and negative clampers. So basically what we are going to do is we are going to introduce a capacitor in the circuit. So what does a capacitor does? So anybody can respond.
Use the ripple, sir.
Reduce the ripples. How can it will reduce the ripples?
By storage and discharge of power, sir.
Yeah, it is going to charge and discharge, right? So in our circuits, we'll take a RC circuit in such a way that we have a resistor and the capacitor and the time constant. So what is the time constant I told you earlier of the capacitor circuit?
RC.
See, sir.
So time constant is equal to R into C. If this time constant is very large, so for example, if your input waveform time period is T, and if you're taking a large time constant, so such that RC is almost greater than 10T. So in most of the cases, I'll be taking much larger than 10T also. Okay, if your RC is much larger value, then what happens? Charging charging of the capacitor will take a lot of time, and then discharging of the capacitor also take a lot of time. So initially we'll be charging the capacitor, and once it is charged, it will take a very long duration for the discharge. And also here we should take in such a way that compared to charging time, discharge time will be longer. Okay, we'll take a capacitor in such a way that charging time is comparatively smaller than the discharge time. So once the capacitor is charged, discharge will take a long period. So until the capacitor is discharged fully, your capacitor acts like a more or less like a battery. Okay. So until the capacitor is fully charged, you will be the capacitor can be able to provide a act like a voltage source. Okay. Now this capacitor is going to provide the either the plus V reference voltage or the minus reference voltage for the circuit. Okay. So we'll be keeping this capacitor in series with your input voltage source. Okay. Now what will be your so let us say that your V input has a peak voltage of Vm. V input peak is Vm, and then capacitor is charged to Vm voltage. Now when these two are in a series, either there can be two possibilities depending upon the polarity of the capacitor. Your V output can be this V input plus your Vm, or V0 can be V input minus Vm, because capacitor voltage will remain constant throughout your circuit operation. Okay, so if it is plus Vm, your output voltage will be raised by plus Vm volts. If the connections are such a way that it is going to reduce, then your output voltage will be reduced by minus V. Okay, so I have not yet shown you the circuit, so I'm just talking in a very abstract manner. I know that. So, but it's a rough idea. Only thing you need to remember that here a capacitor will act like a battery throughout our circuit operation. Okay, so capacitor will charge, and then it is going to discharge, and the discharge time is very longer. So unless it's completely discharged, it will act like a battery source. Okay, so now let us check this positive clamper. So today I'll only finish this positive clampers. Negative clampers we'll discuss in the next class. So first you have a circuit here. So as I told you, we have a capacitor series with your input voltage source. Okay, so this capacitor is in series with your input voltage source, and you are keeping the diode in this position. So in the diode, anode is grounded, whereas cathode is connected to the capacitor, and across this diode you have your load resistor. Okay, and across the load resistor you will take your output voltage. So initially the capacitor is not charged, and as I told you, your charging and discharging time are longer. Okay, so for the positive half cycle, for the first positive half cycle, okay, your capacitor will not be able to charge. Okay, so unless your capacitor is able to charge. Okay, so this capacitor is not at charge. So what happens? Your capacitor is going to charge through your for the positive half cycle diode D1 is in a forward bias or in reverse bias. Please tell me what?
Reverse
Hello?
bias, sir.
Reverse bias, right? So your for the reverse bias, it will act like an open circuit, right? So diode D1 will be open, and the capacitor will charge through this loop. So you have V in. So from V in, current will flow through the capacitor, from the capacitor through the load resistor, and through the load resistor back to the voltage source. So in the outer loop, we can see the current flowing. Okay. So whereas your diode D1 will be in off condition. Okay. So whatever the voltage source is delivering, that voltage will be appearing across your load resistor. You know that there is no resistance for a capacitor, right? So there will not be any voltage drop across your capacitor. So entire V in will appear across your load resistor. So initially, for the positive half cycle, for the first positive half cycle, see this V in, I will draw it here V out. For the positive half cycle, your output will follow the input voltage. Okay. And for the negative half cycle, so I'll take the eraser and I'll redraw the circuit. For the negative half cycle, what happens? Your diode D1 is in a forward bias or in reverse bias? Forward bias, right? For the negative half cycle, your diode D1 is in forward bias. So your circuit now will turn like this. Your diode will act like a almost like a short circuit. I'm considering initially the diode as ideal diode, so I'm not taking any VD value. So VD is equal to 0. So this is a short circuit. Okay, so your current will now flow through the from the voltage source through the diode. Okay, because here you have the negative, here positive terminal, here you have the negative terminal for the negative half cycle. So your current will flow in this manner. Okay, although you have a load resistor, because you have short circuit over here, no current will flow through the load resistor. Know that if you have the two resistances, one resistance is 0, other resistance is, let us say, some 100 ohms, both the resistance are in parallel, the effective resistance will be equal to 0, right? So you have in a parallel circuit, effective resistance is lower than the least resistance. So I have a 0 resistance, so your effective resistance is almost 0. So no current will flow through the load resistor. The current will flow through the diode. Okay, so through this diode, your capacitor will now charge. Now this will become positive voltage. This will become a negative voltage. Okay, so through this circuit, your capacitor will charge to a voltage of Vm. Okay, so once it is charged, okay, now throughout this cycle, what will be your output voltage? So when the capacitor is charging, what will be your voltage? What will be the voltage? So when the capacitor is charging, what will be the voltage value for the negative half cycle? 0, right? Here, so you can see that initially for the positive half cycle, your output is following the input voltage. And in the negative half cycle, initially, till the input voltage reaches the minus Vm, your capacitor is going to charge. So here, till the capacitor is charged, your voltage will be equal to 0. Why it is equal to 0? Why it is equal to 0? Because you have a short circuit, right? Almost. This is equal to 0. If the diode voltage is not equal to 0, if you have a diode voltage, that voltage it will appear. Okay. So here we are considering ideal diode. So VD is equal to 0. This voltage only, it will appear across your output terminals. This is a short circuit voltage. Okay. A short circuit voltage is equal to 0. So till this capacitor is charged to a value of Vm, your output will remain at V0. So once this capacitor is charged, okay, now what will be your circuit? How will be your circuit becomes? Now this is minus plus Vm, and then you have a diode now, and then you have a RL over here. This plus, this minus. Okay. Now this is Vin. Now tell me the voltage at cathode and voltage at anode. What is the voltage at anode? What is the voltage at cathode? What is VAK? VA minus VK value. What is VA minus VK value? VA is at ground level, right?
V in minus VM, sir.
Minus of, what is this VK value? VK is V in, we are going from minus terminal to plus terminal. So it is VK is equal to V in plus VM. Now the diode is now in the reverse bias condition. So in the reverse bias condition, what happens? This becomes a open circuit, right?
Yes,
So once the capacitor is charged to Vm, your circuit will now become more or less like a open circuit again. So this is open, and here you have your RL, and across this you have your V0. Okay. So what happens? What will be your V0 now? If you apply the KVL equation, what will be the V0? We have Vin, and then we are moving from negative terminal to the positive terminal, so it is rise in voltage plus Vm, and then you have in the outer loop only I'm writing the KVL. I have plus V0 to minus terminal I'm moving, so it is minus V0 equal to 0. So it implies V0 is equal to Vin plus Vm, right? So once the capacitor is charged to a value of Vm, it will remain at Vin plus Vm. Okay. And for the remaining entire circuit operation, your capacitor will act like a battery. So it will no longer act like a capacitor which is going to charge and discharge constantly, because we are taking a large value. So it will act like a battery. Your capacitor behaves like a battery of constant voltage, near constant voltage Vm. Okay. Because the discharge time is very large. So for the entire circuit operation, your capacitor will act like a battery. So this plus Vm will continue to exist. Okay, so for every instant you are going to add a Vm voltage, except for the first positive and negative half cycle. For the remaining portions of the output waveform, you can see that your voltage will be, for at every instant you are going to add plus Vm volt. So with this I'll show you the output and then I'll end the class. So you can see that for the first half, first cycle, you can see that here in this portion, your capacitor is not charged, and you are seeing that output is following the input. And here, while in the negative half cycle of the input, your capacitor is being charged to minus Vm. So at this portion, the capacitor is charged to Vm value, and once it is charged, now it is going to discharge. Your capacitor is going to act like a battery only. Battery of voltage Vm volts. Okay, from here you can see that at every instant you are going to add, plus Vm volts. So if it is minus 10 is there, what's its value? This is minus 10 volts, right? So for this minus 10 volts, if you are adding Vm, what is the Vm value? It is 10 volts. So at this instant the voltage is 0. And if you see here, what's the input voltage value? What's the input voltage value at this instant? Please respond. What's the input voltage value you are seeing? Hello? Am I audible? Please respond. What's the input voltage value you are seeing? Can't you see this?
Minus 10 volts, sir.
No, at this instant. At this instant.
0, sir.
0, right?
Zero.
So it is 0 volts. So if you are adding Vm value is 10 volts. So at this particular instant, your voltage of output will be equal to plus 10 volts. You can see that this is plus 10 volts. Can you see this plus 10 volts? So similarly, here also, if you see here plus 10 volts. So if you have plus 10 volts in the input voltage, what will be the output voltage? Output will be plus 10 volts plus Vm. That is Vm is again 10 volts. So this output voltage will be, what is the output voltage you're seeing? Can you see this? 20 volts.
20
right?
volt.
So at every instant, you are adding plus 10 volts for this waveform. Okay, because we have taken the input voltage as 10 volts, you are able to double this voltage to 20. If you have taken the input voltage as 20 volts, you might be getting a 40 volts in the output. Okay, so you are able to change the voltage value at every instant. Okay, so now what is the, now your new reference voltage is, so if you draw the new reference voltage, your reference voltage is now for this sinusoidal waveform, for this dotted red line, your new reference voltage is 10 volts.
10 volts.
This is your new reference voltage. Okay, so the peak voltage will remain the same. What is the peak to peak voltage? It is still plus 10 to 0. So this plus 10, this is 0 volts, right? So your peak to peak voltage is still remaining at, this is 10, this is another 10. Okay, this is remaining at 20 volts. So for the old circuit also, your peak to peak voltage is, here it is 10 volts, here it is another 10 volts. So your peak to peak voltage is remaining at 20 volts. So your peak to peak value will remain the same. Okay, your wave shape will remain the same. The only thing that is going to change is your DC average DC value. Here you are going to raise the average DC value by 10 volts. Okay, I'll open the simulation circuit. The same simulation circuit I've taken this snapshots only. Positive clamp circuit. So the positive clamper circuit. Here it is not 0.7 is not there. I'm taking an ideal diode. So you can see that this ideal diode, 0 volts. I'm taking the capacitor values as large value. I'm taking 200 microfarad capacitor, and then I'm taking a large resistance. I'm taking around 10 kilo ohms. So this RC value is very large. I'm taking a 10 volts AC voltage source. Peak value is 10 volts. Okay. So I'm taking the circuit parameter such a way that RC value is very large. This product of resistor and capacitance should be very large. Then only these clamper circuits are going to work. Okay. Now if I run this circuit, you can see that for the first waveform, for the first cycle, for the positive half cycle, your output is following the input, and then here it is 0 for some portion till the input is reaching the minus Vm value. So once it reaches the minus Vm value, your capacitor is charged to Vm, and then from then at every instant your output is raised by plus Vm value. You are adding plus Vm to the input voltage to get the output voltage. Okay, so that's it for today. I'll end the class. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, I'll end the class.